Hi there, thanks so much for the response for the first video. I can only do 2019 to 2022, I can only do those jumps 3 times organically, because if I try and change it to sort of make more of them, I'm no better than them. This is the second one. I'll post the last one. The last one's got all the party bangers, and that one is getting posted the minute he's out the door. Seriously, but the second is always the darkest of the trilogy, I hear people say. Alright, then it's 2019, shortly after being elected, Boris Johnson had got visited by the American Christian fundamentalist people, forked tongues across the ocean. In order to own language, you must first be assaulted. For business rights, a short first glance requires first blood of child for sacrifice. The name died long and life goes on. Thanks for imposed faith, so as correction. In order for trust as passenger, you must first be tied hand and foot. For cooperation agreed, ritual silence requires a history life makes irrelevant. The word still crumbling rocks. Thanks for considering faith can be imposed on creation. In order to construct bombing factories, you must drive out with ruination. For easily ignored objection, kept working to bones while reflection. The workforce content, but not what they meant, thanks to imposed dreams overwritten. In order for this area to grow, first the groundworks have to be destroyed. For governance to half complete the job requires incentives of blood money Polaroids. The word lying and not even Satan, thanks to people accepting sugar pill. Corrections agreed, tongue-in-cheek, and retirement a pipe dream for scaring children. In order to help and correct step, you must first accept you are godless. Nobody spoke, but everyone knew. This was not the betrayal, however expected. And now we go forward to 2020. This is like before BV, before the vaccine, before hope came in. Wake up to the scar. Wake up to the scar. Easiest if turned around. Find an edge to cut bonds. See tissue harden blood. Now hands are free. How great temptation for picking handfuls, scratching into wound until fingertips, overestimated injury. Smartest money to run at first smell of disinfectant. Wake up to the scar and realise you weren't the first. To notice the wound requires care, and the scale repels horizons. Surely nothing can rise above now. Attention, so get off the stage. First aid lesson and torn displays, bins so the next group learn their ways. Kept from public behind screen. How to make the scar appear less important than screaming. Biggest objective, stop the question. How did scar appear in first instance? Not essential, still can't run, just the science preparing for ringing bells. How choir sang handed down. The scar is love, salvation wins disfigurement. The scar is the proof, temptation brings impediments. 5 years where scar appeared, still here but used to this. Business made claim of ownership, miniaturized to affix on child's baseball cap. Weird to know how generations now grow up thinking hated scar was normal part of planet's existence. Once allowed to run again, nobody stopped to explain. Who cared for graffiti or words on text screens or inked page? From wherever the scar could be tasted, a wound that size and for that long entered microscopic digestive system. The artist painting anything but the scar. The musician singing anything except the scar. The comedian everything jokes apart from the scar. The actors do all stunts to distract us of the scar. The builders denied projects to obscure the scar. The astronauts faced the words of all. The faded now, the battle focused on, and now furniture became the gold. The sun fell and rose around the scar. Nobody cared for answers, just to ring the bell in churches and to warn to brush off from tongue debris whenever open-mouthed and never healed. The scar mysterious, gaping and constant feel. Weird to know the last alive, to remember before the scar arrived, never seemed to be taken seriously. And now we go into 2021. Sprained Majority. That sprained majority carried on, assumed it worked to detriments of something thought in a food chain for all talk of how they should love. Make it as real as being left alone. In a box assumed still, it leapt up as problem. As usual diminished, made guilty, belittle own strength to claim the parade. The open secret not so invisible. A test could not engineer better way. How far after getting used to does the flavour irritate towards action? Where did it make the cut? Exposed to its very own perishable. And still only the paperwork, not the actual conditions. Looking excuse for a breakdown, rather touched looking for ways out, until leads ended staring at face, nothing hurt or people killed out from love. The first thing survives, jokes, so they can distance from touch. Far easier complaining, nothing to hide. At least Jack in the box can be intercepted, absorbed direction, and forced back to close the lid. The sprains needed attention, but that would stop performance of characters still didn't know, names of just there for entertainment. The easier joke compared to help. The sprained majority go on and cry, and they are genuine tears because they're about themselves. Here we go, back into 2022. This is as dark as it gets. As I say, the party bangers are coming in the last part, the final part when he goes. But here we go to 2022, just let's say May, end of May. Not my fault you didn't learn the lottery numbers. This is about 2022. Avoid suspicion, act in continuity. To have kept continuity, made it appear functioning, far too willing to accept proposal, turning inward towards own home, knowing not to shout just yet, but silently collecting resources. Another day tomorrow at this place, it doesn't happen directly here. If warmer sun, a carnival atmosphere, so quiet hostility seems last century. The good blue shone down between all around, white outlines of silent grey clouds. The gusts have stopped and refuse dropped, no longer fired across into the road. Even if not what everybody wants, it was still at the mercy of what they feel it should, and raises another volley of questions. But is this not just living in denial? Their status quo seems accepted for now. How quickly will they feel the change? Once upon a time, its speed could be controlled. Have they decided who could be in charge? It will always be some anonymous, mistrusted but competent and informed, never saw a glimpse before, yet still insists they are local. Even if you question their credentials on instinct or panic over hearing word plan, such thoughts own and useless as the neighbouring touch such in and queued to complain, and what have the plans for a year, not to worry about submarines, and who is left to afford the bill? The nature assumes computers will follow these. And what just happened really? Only a demonstration the continuity is working on the unassuming, and if they become unamused suddenly, enough resources to waste on uprising. But who is the leader to follow the plan? The script gets changed, but the actors still have. Thank you very much for listening. I can prove now I can't stand up for more than 10 minutes. As I say, the Party Bankers of Part 3 will be released the second you see him leave the actual door. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Bye.